Right, so hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So Alliance Wars season 30 has started and it's New Nation against TCN. Now we did lose to these guys the season before that and they were extremely strong. They did end up getting docked before the season rewards came out, so that is actually the reason why New Nation managed to get in top 3. But nonetheless, new season, new start, and let's see how we do this time. So for the offensive team, I am bringing in Big Daddy Kingpin himself, alongside Mr. Sinister and the Hood. Now, my Hood is a rank 3 champion, and therefore he would also be perfectly viable to have been used for a couple of fights in this war. But in reality, just like Mr. Sinister, the Hood is there to be a synergy piece for the Big Daddy Kingpin, so he shrugs off debuffs more effectively. And it is quite likely that I will be using this team, or at the very least Mr. Sinister and Kingpin, or and Kingpin and Hood, and some other third champion for most of the season. So that is the idea, that I will be having a lot of Kingpin gameplay in Alliance Wars this season. Right, so there are some quick map 8 pictures that I downloaded, but here is the start of the war. So for first half, section 1, I am on path 9, and that is the hazard shift node. So basically every time we strike the opponent, we can either get incinerated or poisoned. But in this case, for Kingpin, it's actually quite a good deal. Now, I do have to mention that this war, I did have quite a lot of issues with controls, and I have been having more of those as of late. All of the recent 4 or 5 streams when I was doing variant 8, or now that I did 7.4 beta, my champion just seems to do random stuff, doesn't dash back in after opponent's special attacks, and definitely does not necessarily always dex when I would want it to. And I have definitely started to notice it more and more recently. Now, hopefully, that does not continue to be the case, because it actually nearly cost me a KO. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about at that moment there is going to be the importance of boosting the hell out in these wars, because A, we do get quite a lot of boosts given to us for free, and B, you'd rather boost up hard than get KO'd. So this first fight is very straightforward, just bash in there against that Vision Arcus. There's nothing too specific. I did get hit like 3 times at the beginning, but I still finished with pretty much 100% health, and you know, all is well. Shrugged off all the debuffs. Even if I don't shrug them off immediately, if multiple of them apply at the same time, then, you know, once you reach 8 rages or 8 debuffs, including rages more specifically, then you end up shrugging them off then. And here, this is going to be kind of like one of those weird fights as well, where, you know, the AI just doesn't quite do what I want it to do. Nonetheless, we have the overpower buff active on us already. We can see that the rage count there is increasing quite significantly. Now, I know there's no point in going for level 1s against Mole Man here, just because he's going to be shrugging them off anyways. So I'm moving on for level 2s. You can see that some debuffs occasionally stick, and, you know, it's not the biggest deal because Kingpin is also healing throughout the entire fight. Now I have 2 overpowers for now, and I'm only going to manage to get in a couple of claps with 2 overpowered debuffs, but still, it's all good. Fairly safe, fairly controlled fight. I'm not going to finish quite with full health because I took a bit too many blocked hits, but you know, such is life. Not too bad. Now he uses his level 1, and I'm just casually blocking there, and I eat the final hit of level 1. This one was on me though. This one was definitely on me. Okay, so here we go. Kingpin done with the first 2 fights. Now I can move on to section 2. And in section 2, I am going to be on path 8. And it's going to be fairly straightforward as well. Nothing too serious there. So we can see somebody got KO'd against Ebony Maw. They're in the middle. Not the biggest of deals. That fight's actually quite tricky. Ebony Maw over there is quite a scary opponent to face. So I can perfectly understand that. And yeah, I also have from the off season several of these 3-minute boosts expiring, so I'm definitely not going to be saving them for any reasons at all whatsoever. And here we can see that the first fight is against Immortal Abomination, and Kingpin with Hood synergy is a really good option here against that Immortal Abomination. Number one, because of that power lock, you know, it gives me more room. I'm less likely to get cornered, because that often can be a worry when you face off against the Immortal Abomination as well. And the second point is that obviously any poison debuffs that he would place on me, I will end up purifying. And, you know, that's just going to help my damage output and all that other good stuff. So thanks to the degeneration as well, you know, it's just a super safe fight. Absolutely nothing to worry here. Kingpin's like a perfect counter. Next up is going to be a Dragon Man. Now, Dragon Man is slightly more scary, just because whenever there is extra power gain involved, you know, things can go wrong. But when you have Mr. Sinister synergy, Kingpin actually has very potent power control. Yes, he can't power drain, but that power lock does help a ton whenever you are dealing with champions that have increased power gain abilities. Right, so here we can see that there's buff imbalance, rich get richer, whatever, none of it really matters. And here, Kingpin going in with 100% health, no problem. So I do want to land in that parry quite early on, just so I can get rid of that power gain buff. Now he throws his level 1, which is very good for me. He's power locked as well, and we gotten rid of his power. So I'm going to go in for level 2 for reasons. I think I probably wanted to go for level 1, but I just pushed myself over there. So now he uses his own level 2, which is perfect, which leaves him with no power and a power lock active on him. Then a nice level 1 there, put on a degen, reducing his attack, reducing his ability accuracy. We're going to go for second degen. At this point, his defensive ability accuracy is reduced by over 100%. Not that it matters in this fight, but still, you know, it's good to have kind of moment. So Kingpin finishes this fight despite that passive heal block at 97%. Now, this fight is going to be one of those really, really dodgy fights. And I definitely made it harder than it should have been. But here is the importance of whenever you're unsure, or whenever you have noticed that maybe AI is misbehaving or your inputs are being interpreted differently, then definitely have that indestructible 3 boost and boost up to the max. So I had the 30% champion boost. I had the 25% health boost here active, I believe, just because it's so important. So here I unfortunately waste my indestructible boost. But, you know, that's why it's there. It's to protect me from these kind of mishaps. And I knew that I can't use really level 1s in this fight. Because of high ground, if I put degeneration on Professor X, then he would, well, gain more of those high ground charges quicker. So now here I'm just going to wait out for the falter to expire. And you know, all is well for most part. I need to be aware of kinetic transference, but here I think is going to be the problem moment. I definitely know that I dexed. 100% I dexed. I didn't dash back in, 100% I dexed, and I nearly got KO'd. We can see that I was left at like 8 or 10% health. And only reason I survived is because of that indestructible boost and because of max boosting. And this is just one of those very nasty examples of, you know, the game controls not necessarily being on point at the moment. Luckily, it didn't cost us a death. It did cost me some potions, which I'm going to have to use very shortly, but it didn't cost me the death. Right, and next up now, there is the final boss fight, and Knull. Now, I'll be honest, don't place Knull as a boss. It's not a good boss. Only reason he might have worked in like off-season, or you could have seen some kills with him as a boss, is because he's new. And you know, when a champion is new, it's easier. Well, it's harder to be super confident for the fight, and you know, it's easier to get confused. But Knull is not a good boss. Only thing that's tricky about Knull is inverted controls. But inverted controls are not a must. If you can push Knull to level 2, or if you can prevent him from throwing special 1 in any other means, inverted controls is not a problem. Even if he throws that level 1, you can basically prevent inverted controls from activating by throwing special attack at a time that timer would expire. Same as with Quake stun from Aftershocks. If opponent's throwing special attack, well, those Aftershocks would expire, you do not get stunned. And the final point is, you can just wait out the inverted controls as well. Other than that, there's very, very little reason to fear Knull. And in this case, especially going up against the guy with Kingpin, you know, Kingpin absolutely destroys the guy because he places debuffs on me. And, you know, Kingpin absolutely loves that stuff. It just improve my damage output, let me shrug it all off, completely neutralize kind of like the annoying aspects of him, give me more healing, and make the fight significantly easier than it would be against a champion that doesn't inflict debuffs. So you can see that he takes less damage from the degeneration, or is meant to take less damage from degeneration, but even with all of that, you know, the fight is going well. He uses his level 2 and blocks some hits. They hardly do any damage. Can go in, drop a full combo thanks to power lock. You know, I get a bit more room to work with. I'm gonna go again, just stop before he gets a bar of power. Then I'm gonna go in for a full combo, drop my own level 1 again, and just block, bait out a heavy attack, punish that, and that's it. Rinse and repeat. It's a very, very, very simple fight. Just do your best not to let the guy use his level 1. Even if he does, you can play out of it, but still, if he doesn't use level 1, the fight's basically fighting Winter Soldier, more or less. And again, we're going in for a full combo. Level 1, degen active, hold block, bait out heavy attack that I should have went in to punish, but again, my 8 didn't seem to want to run in, but it's fine. Going for another level 1. Very straightforward fight. And we can see that Kingpin never has dipped below like 90% health. So that's about as safe as you can be, I guess, in this fight. So I think I go for... Now I think it's going to be another level 1 here. Yeah, why not? Degen goes back on. Nice 10k crit. Some damage over time effects. Bait out that heavy attack. Go for another level 1, I think. And that is all she wrote. And that is it. So we did not die. We came quite close to dying. Okay, 8%. We didn't die because of the boost. Now, I was very, very upset, actually, by eating that level 2. I was properly mad. But that just shows once again that, you know, things can go wrong, but if you do your preparations well, if you boost up, if you use the 3-minute boosts, and if you don't lose your cool after, you know, the scuffle happens, you can make it out alive. And that is exactly the reason why you boost in the war in the first place. Because, you know, you technically don't need boosts for any of these fights. If everything goes well, you know, the boosts are kind of pointless, you know. They just shorten the fight duration a tiny bit. In most fights, the boosts are not needed at all. But it's just that extra insurance. And that is also what often separates the alliances who die 3 times, who die 5 times in a war, and the alliances who die 15 and 20 times. Boosts, obviously, are not important when everything goes right. Boosts are extremely important when something goes wrong. And with the game the way it is right now, things go wrong. That being said, unfortunately, quite frustratingly, even though our opponents died 9 times, we managed to die 11 times, and we lost our first war. It is extremely frustrating. But that's just the beginning of the season. Hopefully we do manage to turn things around. Obviously, if we keep dying as much, then we don't have much of a chance to finish highly. But, you know, there is nowhere but up from here, I suppose. Yeah, I will try my best to upload all of the war season videos, and hopefully you guys enjoy them. See ya. Did with Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the